Hi, I'm Vince, and in this sponsored video, I want to give you my honest opinion of this Thermal Master P4 thermal imaging camera. This thing is fantastic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you some of the features that it has, but then stick around because I'm going to answer some of the most commonly asked questions that people have about this camera. Then I'll demonstrate it in use. But what you get in the box is you have the box, you get an extension cable that has a female and male USB adapter, so you can plug this into your Android phone, tablet. It also has a USB-C or USB-A, so you can plug it into a laptop if you wanted. Comes with a user guide. It looks very thick, but there's like 30 languages in here. It's about 7 pages for your language. Comes with this nice little carrying case. This is what the camera's inside of. I'll open it up for you and show you that camera. This is what the camera looks like. That's it right there. Plugs into your phone, very lightweight, and it turns any Android phone into a thermal imaging camera. And it sits right back in the case. Has a little pouch there for this cable. And some of the features are it has a dual lens. So this P4 thermal camera has a 1280 by 960 visible light camera. For the IR3 resolution, it has a 512 by 384. It's good from -4 degrees Fahrenheit to 1112 degrees. So it's got a high range there. So it has AI stabilization, which is really good because that helps you to keep the image stable while you're holding it with your hand. So those are some of the nice features it has. It's lightweight. But let me answer some of the most commonly asked questions people have. And the first one is, does it work with all Android phones? And the answer is yes, as long as your Android operating system is 6.0 or higher. The app will work with it. Does it work in complete darkness? Yes, it does. It can be completely dark because it's not looking at visible light. It's looking at thermal images. It's looking at heat. So it can be in complete darkness. Now, another question people have about this is, how long does the battery last? Well, that's what's interesting. This does not have a battery. This gets its power from your phone, from your tablet, from your laptop. That's where it's getting its power. So the length of battery when you're out using it is going to vary based on your phone. If you've got a very old phone and the battery's half dead, it's going to last a lot longer than if you got a newer phone where the battery is still at full strength and it's a healthy battery. So it's going to depend a lot on your phone, but it doesn't eat up a lot of battery very fast. You can do hours of use on one charge. If you're worried about it, like you think you're going to be using this for 8 or 10 hours at a time, bring a power bank and that'll do the job for you. Can it detect small temperature differences? Yes, it can. It's sensitive up to 35 1/1000ths of a degree Celsius and 63 1/1000ths of a degree Fahrenheit. And it has an accuracy range of about 3 degrees one way or the other. So those are some of the most commonly asked questions. But now that we've answered them, we've shown you what comes in the box, we've talked about some of the features, let me go ahead and show you how this thing works in real life. So I've got the camera connected, and here we have our options. We're going to go to quick capture. And you can already see here's my dogs. I am going to flip this. I'll leave it just like this. So you can see my dogs there. And I do want to show you just how sensitive this is. For instance, when my dog moves, I'll call Raven. Look what's left behind. It even sees the heat from their paw prints from standing there for a few minutes, just standing at the bowl. There's the 4 paw prints. So it is very, very sensitive. Now as I move over here, I've got my sink is full of hot water. And what's going to happen is this is just reading the whole area. But down here at the bottom, I have this little temperature setting on the left. If I click it, I can tell it to point at something, draw a line, do a rectangle, circle, or all the temperature. If I do point, and I put the point right there, and then I hit this button up here for calibrate, which is the little shutter. Now the calibration is successful, and it's looking just at what point 1 is. And this water is 87 degrees. It's gone back and forth. So I can set that where I want. I can do a rectangle. And if I do a rectangle, I can just draw on the screen a rectangle and tell it to get me the temperature in there. I click the shutter button up at the top to reset it, and there it's telling me the R1 average rectangle temperature is about 85 degrees. I can hit the delete button, get rid of that. I can hit all and it'll just give me a full temperature range. But the point one lets me get something very specific. So I can hit it, tell it to point there, refresh the camera, and get the exact temperature. So if I move now, for instance, up to my AC vent, I live in the south, I'm going to delete that point, but I want to put a new point up there. So I'm going to hit point. I'm going to tell it to point there. I'm going to hit the shutter button. It clicks. Calibration successful. And now it's reading the temperature that's coming out of there, wherever I move that pointer to. 68, 69, 70. It's 100 degrees out, so that's actually not doing too bad. So I can use that point. I can also take pictures with my camera, the camera icon down here. I can take a picture, record, or take a picture. If I take a picture, it saves successfully. So this is great for even just around the home use. Like, I'm just going to, again, give you another example here. This is my freezer. So we're now looking into my freezer. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to delete that point. I'm going to make a new point. Right there. I'm going to hit that shutter to refresh. And now it's going to, once that calibration is done, and I move in, it tells me the temperature of that freezer. Right up there, P1. It's giving me the temperature. I delete that, and we're back to just normal use. So let me just take you and show you some practical ways that you can use this. So here we are in my living room window. So I already showed you one practical way, seeing what your ducts, your AC or your heat is pumping out. But you can see heat loss here from the window, or how much heat is coming in from the window. And again, as it's looking at that, it's giving me, when I hit the all button, it's giving me the temperature it sees around these windows. And I can tell where a lot of the heat's coming in. And of course, it's a sunny day outside. And if I want, I can clear that. Again, hit the point, and I can tell it just to look at that one point area. I can refresh the calibration, and now I'm getting the temperature from that. Just looking at that, it's telling me it's 85 degrees. That's what is radiating through here. So very cool. I can do a line. So if I do this and I say I want this line, it's going to give me, when I recalibrate, it's going to tell me the average temperature of that line, wherever that line is. I can delete that. And then I can tell it to do a circle. And just draw the circle. You can move the circle around. And again, if I refresh, now I got the C1 average. So lots of different tools you can do. There's different color palettes that you can pick. If you don't want to see it in that color palette, you can do it that way or back to that. Lots of different options for the color palette. You can set the temperature range that you want. It's on dynamic for me, which is what I want. All kind of little features. You can annotate on these. You can save these pictures. You can do video. Whatever you want to do with it, you can do. You can bring up picture in picture, so you can analyze a picture you took and then a later picture. So maybe you're working on something. You can do a picture in picture, so I see what it was before. Now I see what it is while I'm active and live. Let me just give you some other use cases for this. Here I am in my attic. Like I said, it's about 100 degrees outside. So again, here's my AC unit, and I can see how that's running. And I can look at and see it. Am I losing, how much heat is on the outside of this unit? I can see the heat all across my attic. This is going to help you find where there's maybe hot spots, cold spots in the winter. Am I losing heat somewhere? I can come down to my AC unit and see that the AC unit's running at 108 degrees in here. But that unit there is doing what it's supposed to do. So this has all kind of practical uses for work. If you need to do this for work, it also has incredible uses just for around the home. Let me go show you a couple more examples. So just here's a small example. I've got a rock tumbler that I'm using out here, and I can look at this rock tumbler and see there's heat down here. You can see that spot is heated up. And again, I can do the point. I can put it right on that spot. I can hit the calibration and see how hot that's running. So it's great for electronic devices. If you want to look and see where the heat is, over here I have my refrigerator. So again, I can see how hot the side of that refrigerator is just by, and I can see the coils. You can see the coils running in there. Let you see right through, so 96, 97 degrees on that. So just a lot of uses. And for these for these refrigerators outside, I can do this and find out what the temperature inside the fridge is. And that can help me know whether this thing is keeping its cool well or not. So can do the same thing with this fridge. So lots of cool uses for this around your home, but also professionally. Here's another example. I have this mini split in my garage. I want to know how the air temperature coming out of there is, and is it doing what it should do. I've got the point on and I just move up close to it. It's blowing out air at 52 degrees, 60 degrees. That's fantastic. So again, all kind of ways to troubleshoot stuff even in your own home. Here's another good example. This is my fuse panel. And I can get a good idea of what might be running hot, what's not. I can use the triangle or the rectangle and put a square around these and get the average temperature of those. I can delete that. I can hit the pinpoint and say, well, we've got some, looks like some hot spots there. Reset the camera. But I can see that's nothing to worry about. They're just running in that 81, 82 degree range. Nothing to worry about. And then these other ones probably aren't being used at all right now. So there you have it. You got to see that demonstrated. Just trying to show you, it can see the dog's heat, how sensitive it was to see the paws. Even when they walked away, you could see what was remaining there. That stayed for about 3-4 minutes as it slowly faded. Hot water in the sink. The AC ducts, you could see that. You got to see it show me the temperature in my electrical panel while an electronic device was running, where the hot spots were on it, inside the refrigerator, the mini fridges. And those are just some of the use cases. That's why this thing is so fantastic, because this can be used professionally. There's 15 different light mode settings you can use for it. So you can definitely use this as a professional to troubleshoot. You can look at circuits and see where there might be a hot spot in a circuit. You saw it up in my attic. It could tell me where the hot spots were. I could look and see where my walls are insulated. Am I losing heat, or am I get cold coming through, that type of stuff. So this can definitely be used by a professional. And the fact that it works with your Android phone is amazing. Don't have to carry around a big thermal camera. And it has a ton of different settings, as you saw, to get circles, squares, lines, a pinpoint, just check the area altogether. You saw me showing the windows and where the heat was in the windows and how much heat was coming in. So all of those things, they can be used professionally. And so actually, since I've gotten this, I've actually had a number of friends say, hey, I think I'm having trouble in this area. I think I'm losing heat through here. I think that they want me to come over and use this. So you can definitely use it professionally, but you see all the uses, even if you're just a home user, a DIY guy, just doing it yourself. This is invaluable for checking and seeing, troubleshooting, figuring out where you're losing heat, how hot things are running. Great for refrigerator repair and things like that, AC unit troubleshooting, heating units. So even if you're just, a do-it-yourself person, this is a fantastic little product to have. So I highly, highly recommend this. I think it's incredible. And I think the things you could use it for are almost endless. So if you're watching this video, you're obviously in the market for a thermal imaging camera. This one caught your eye. Maybe it's small size, it's lightweight, all its features, the fact that it can go on any Android phone. Maybe those are some of the things that brought you here. So why don't you do this? go ahead, put one in your cart, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just click the link in the description below. It'll take you right to your Amazon account, right to this page, and you can put it in your cart and give it a try. Try it for a couple of weeks. I'm confident that if you get one of these and give it a try, you're going to love it just as much as I do.